How's it going everybody? I'm Lewis, also known as Skeffles, and welcome to the 29th devlog for my Iron Age fantasy tower defense game, Project Torrim. Last week I worked on game balance and saving. Check out that video in the cards. This week I begin work on sound. I have a list of sounds that I want in the game, mostly stuff for towers and enemies. Now I've got zero experience creating sounds, since my previous games have utilised free sounds from websites such as opengameart.org. As such, this week was quite experimental, testing the program SFXR and trying my hand at some Foley. To kickstart my week, I wanted to try out a free sound creation program called SFXR. This is a program I've heard a lot about in many devlogs, so I figured it will be a great starting point. After spending a morning with the program, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. If you need to create 8 or 16-bit sounds quickly, then it's wonderful, and I'm definitely going to use it in my next game jam. I created a small selection of sounds for things like tower shooting, an explosion, enemies taking damage, and a new wave beginning. These sounds are cool, but they don't really fit with the Iron Age fantasy theme. I think they fit sci-fi much better. As such, I moved on to trying my hand at some Foley. To get the sounds I wanted, I took a look around my flat for anything I thought would make a good sound. These items ranged from spoons to pizza trays, chairs to lighters, and even a thrown away Mentos bag. With these items in hand, I did what I had to do to record the sounds. With these sounds recorded, I began experimenting with effects and layering in Audacity. At the end of the week I had a series of sounds that worked, and some that didn't. I don't want to hurt your ears with the bad sounds, so I'll take you over the better sounds I created for the towers. The first sound I added was a swoosh for when a tower shoots its projectile. This effect was made with a plastic clothes hanger. I made sure to add a good variety of these, since it will be a very common sound in the game, and I received a tip on a Discord server to add a variety of sounds. The next sound I added was a reload for the Ballista Tower. This was made up of a jar popping open, a knife being sharpened, and a chair reclining. These reload sounds are alright, although I think they could be a slightly lower pitch and include some reverb, so perhaps I'll add that next week. The next sound I added was for the chain tower, which I wanted to sound somewhat magical. This was made by adding some wah-wah effects to a crumpled Mentos bag and combining them with the sound of an electrical lighter zipping past. I really like this sound, although I'm a little worried it doesn't fit in with the others. However, I'm not rushing to address it right now, as there's a bug with the chaining projectile, meaning you can't properly hear how it will sound chaining through all of the enemies. The next sound I added was for the explosion projectile. I quite like how this one came out. This was made by slowing down the sound of me hitting my chair, adding a layer of an air freshener being sprayed, and pitch shifting the whole thing down. Then I just added a little reverb to sell the effect. The last sound I added was for the freezer tower. The base of this sound was taken from my bathroom's extractor fan. I then added layers of ice being hit and rubbed together. I quite like this one, as it definitely sounds like ice being exuded from the tower to slow down enemies. What do you think of these sounds? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I think As my first time creating sounds, it wasn't too bad a job, and I'm excited to bring all that I learned into next week when I look into creating sounds for the game's enemies. I hope you enjoyed watching this devlog for Project Torrim. Leave the video a like to let me know you did, and subscribe to keep up to date with the progress on the game. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.